Yo, what is up? This is Matt speaking, aka Agni Veda, aka TheCosmicPsychedelic. Welcome to the mini podcast of Aquarius podcast, aka the Cosmic Psychedelic podcast. Today, I'm going to be talking about overthinking. Overthinking is one of the main leading causes to depression. Overthinking is probably the worst thing in the world that I have ever experienced in my lifetime. I think that it comes from just not fully understanding the situation and just wanting to be controlling of the situation because you're not in control at all. I usually find myself overthinking when I have no idea what is actually going on in that moment. I feel like that it has to do with low-key anger that has not been processed yet, and you're just getting frustrated in the situation, and like you're not fully just understanding what is happening. So you get frustrated and you overthink of all these different scenarios and possibilities in your head. And it's been going on for hours and hours and hours over something that didn't even fucking happen and probably will not happen. So you think of all these different scenarios and possibilities of what's going to happen in that situation. And it's usually always bad. It's usually never good at all. And I guess that could be a certain indicator that overthinking is really bad. And that, like, you should catch yourself and you're just be like, whoa, this is way too negative for a second. Let me take a step back. But sometimes you just get caught up in that moment and you have no idea what is going on. And you're just sitting there for hours and hours just thinking about all these different scenarios that won't happen. It ruins so many types of relationships. Like with your family, with friends, and significant others. Because, like, you could, like, think of, like, I guess, like, for example, in some of my past relationships, like, I low-key have control issues. That's how I'm able to speak on this from personal experience. But it's like when I don't have control of the situation, I start thinking of all these different possibilities of, like, what could happen, what's gonna happen, and, like, it's happening because of this, it's happening because of this, it's like because of this is gonna happen. And then, like, you have all these scenarios in your head and different possibilities, and none of them are probably gonna happen. I don't know, like, say, like, I don't fully understand what my significant other is doing at that time, and then for some reason in my head I just get into a whole spiral, like, oh my god, they hate me, oh my god, they're ignoring me, they're cheating, blah, 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 all this stupid shit that isn't even happening. And all of a sudden she's just cleaning her house and she has no idea. Like, I don't know, she was just busy. She couldn't do it. And yeah, it's just, it fucks you up real bad. Yeah, that's just, like, an example of just, like, overthinking. Yeah, definitely overthinking stems from, like, anger and unprocessed emotions that has happened in the past. Because they do stem from a lot of emotional trauma that has happened probably during your childhood. I would say it's most likely from emotional neglect. Probably your parents never really communicated with you all too well about how they were feeling and what they were thinking and doing, and you got hurt from that scenario of them not fully explaining what their intentions were and what was going on. So you think that it's your fault, but it's not. It's just because that you had no idea what the other person was doing. And if you don't process that and understand that, then it could come up as emotional triggers in the future and cause you to overthink and just be like, oh my god, it could be this, it could be this, it could be this. Why are they acting like this? It's like, I don't know. It could also be like lack of communication in the relationship as well. It's just a very, very, very toxic cycle that if someone else gets brought into it, it could just chew them up, spit them out. I don't know, it's just like a really negative thought loop that we need to understand and to break out of. Like, I guess some ways that I get out of them, like, I'm no way a master at getting out of, like, my own funk sometimes. Like, a lot of things I can handle, but I say, like, overthinking I'm very prone to. Because, like, I don't know, I guess it has to do with, like, being in your head a lot. And you just gotta find a way to bring yourself into the present moment. So, like, things that really bring me into the present moment is, like, pretty much meditating. Just, like, focusing on my breathing and just fully thinking it through. It's just kind of, like, shutting off your mind for a little bit and just focusing on your breathing and the present moment, just listening to what's around you, like how you're feeling, and just kind of like acknowledge it and just like let it go and just hand it off to the universe for it to process whatever you're feeling and whatever is going on. Another way that I deal with it is writing poetry and music. I pretty much just splurge whatever I am thinking onto the page, and I just try to make something that's really dark and sad and just turn it into beauty in a way, and just kind of making it a more positive thing. It's like, okay, instead of me being very self-destructive with myself, I can at least put this onto the page and make it benefit me in a more positive way. And it also kind of like gets it out of your head and into the physical reality. So you can actually look at it and be like, oh, this is what it really looks like in real life. Like, you're actually physically looking at it instead of thinking about it and getting lost. You're able to actually physically focus and look at it in a very linear way. I guess if you're not really like super musically capable of a lot of things, I guess that just writing stuff out in a journal could really help. Just like splurge everything onto the page, just keep writing and writing and writing and writing. And who cares if it's like 50 pages, and just like, at least it's all out of your head and not bouncing around in your skull. And then what I usually do is that I burn those pages, because that's like a form of releasing that negative energy into the universe to be processed. It's like handing it off to that higher being and just being like, please take this, I can't fucking deal with this anymore, you know? And it just gets released, and it could be like, it's a form of processing it. Like, it's like releasing it of its natural, like, of its state right now. And then it gets released, and it could be formed into a more positive aspect. Because, like, you could also look at everything and just be like, oh, I'm looking at it from another point of view. Or after you burn it, you just feel a lot lighter, and you're able to look at it at a different perspective since it's not weighing you down anymore. Another form of getting out of overthinking, I drink a lot of chamomile tea. Chamomile tea is very good for de-stressment. Anything that's a de-stressor. I wouldn't say weed, would be a de-stressor because I feel weed is an amplifier. So if you're in that overthinking mood, it could just amplify that moment and then make you really think about it. If you're that strong-headed about it and just want to like deal with it right then and there. But a lot of people just want to like ease it away. So like I wouldn't really recommend weed that much. But I recommend like kind of like drinking teas that are very de-stressing, like essential oils and stuff like that with the water vapor. Working out is another way of de-stressment and bringing yourself more into the now. It releases all those endorphins and stuff to kind of just like get rid of that built up stress and everything. Being outside also really helps too. Just being in the sunlight, being around trees, and just all that extra oxygen, and sunlight increases vitamin D, so like your serotonin goes up. Obviously, if oxygen intake is getting up, then you will feel a lot better as well. It also brings you more into the now and the present moment, just being there, listening to everything that's happening around you, not being on your phone. Being on your phone a lot also really stresses you out. Pretty much what I'm trying to say, that a lot of stress also causes a lot of overthinking and just like low-key agitation, because it's like straining your eyes and your brain, and it's just like putting off all these different frequencies that are not good for you. And I would say it puts you at like more of like a stale energy. Like I feel so stale after being around technology for a long time, and you just get headaches. It like closes your third eye, and you just need to be around life. And your phone's artificial, so it's not really giving you anything in return. Like it could give you information and stuff like that, but it's not really. It's like giving you false, inorganic returns that only last like a second, and that's why we get addicted to it so much also. And then we also go on social media and see other people being happy, and then you're constantly like comparing yourself to other people, and you're just overthinking your life, and then you think that you're not at a good spot right now and you should be doing better, so you're just stressing yourself out and freaking yourself out, and you're like, oh, I gotta do all this shit, I gotta like get my shit together and stuff, even though that you're perfectly fine with where you are right now. It's just a mental trick. And other people just post happy stuff to kind of like put on a facade to show that their life is going good when it's really not. Singing is also another good form of de-stressment. Also, another thing I would probably do, like if you're like overthinking and stuff like that, talk to the person directly about it and try to get clarification. Instead of just sitting there overthinking of all the different possibilities, just go to them and just ask them that question and be like, yo, I'm overthinking this so much, like, can you please just like give me more information about whatever the hell's going on, just like clear the communication up, you know? Because some people just suck at communication, and they're not really telling you everything that's going on, and it causes other people to freak out, especially if they're emotionally unstable and shit like that. Like, you also gotta be, like, as a person who is emotionally stable, also has to be aware of the people that are emotionally unstable in their lives, and have to treat them with compassion if you want them to stay in your life. Because if you're just constantly going like, oh my god, well, you getting so butthurt about all this shit and stuff like that, it's like, no, they're in a bad space right now, and you being very aggressive and just blunt and heartless, it's gonna bring them down even more, and it's also gonna make them not want to be your friend anymore, and just keep pushing and pushing away. Like, we get so stuck in our egos that we just don't see that side, and it sucks for everybody around you. Because I also do flip-flop from those two perspectives of me just being like so unaware of other people around me, and I just get like too aggressive and shit like that, and I just like could cause people to like go into a spiral if I'm not too careful of what I'm saying. And also, I do become soft sometimes, and I do become emotionally vulnerable, and I do get thrown into spirals of overthinking, so I understand both sides of things. So I just think that, and also the people who are overthinking also have to take into consideration of like what the other person means to, and just take like 40 seconds just to sit there, like just to take a step back and be like, okay, did they really mean what they said like that? Or am I just like freaking the fuck out because I'm just sad right now and I'm just vulnerable? So definitely taking that like that minute to take a step back and really think about if it's true or not. And if you still want to, definitely still get clarification from the other person, but taking that minute helps you recompose yourself so you don't freak out and then start an argument and stuff like that and just spring it on people, because then if you just spring it on people, then they're going to get very defensive and they're going to start an argument because they're backed up into a corner and they're defensive because they have no idea what you were thinking in your head. You are not fully expressing everything that's happening at that moment, and other people aren't mind readers yet. That is a part of the new age, but that's a whole other story. But yeah, people aren't mind readers. Like, a lot of people are very emotionally intelligent and they can understand a little bit of what's going on, but they're not going to fully understand everything that's happening within your head at that moment. So a lot of people just also need to be very transparent on what they are thinking and how they are feeling, because nobody knows besides you. So why get mad at other people when they're not fully understanding how you're feeling, when you're not fully expressing how you're feeling and thinking at that moment? Because then it's on you. So overthinking sucks, but it's just like kind of like being in your ego and just kind of like, and you're like too stressed out and you're getting so worked up and you're just thinking of all these different possibilities that like couldn't even be, that are not true. And then it could ruin a lot of relationships and friendships and, you know. Oh yeah, if you have animals, just chill with your animals and just pet and cuddle them and stuff like that. That's also a form of stress releasement as well. Like, especially with dogs. Dogs are like a fucking happiness generator. Like, you go up to them, you start petting them and stuff, and it's like your negativity just goes away. It's because that they're so happy and so blissful that it just kind of diminishes all that negativity that you were feeling. Because love just cures darkness. Because love is the light and darkness is just the absence of light. So that's another way that you could really think about it. Taking care of plants also, just like having that thing just to like put love into, and to just like get your mind off things and just be in the present moment and just understanding that something else needs your attention and love and protection. Just like be outside every day, water the plants and miss them, make sure that they're like all good and stuff like that, just to like have like a good thing going. I guess that also leads into structure too. It's just always keeping your mind busy doing things that you want to do, and that just kind of like make your soul feel happy or joyful. It's like, do things that make your soul happy, because if you're constantly doing things that you don't want to do, you're gonna get in your head and you're gonna want to like get the fuck out of there. You're gonna want to like die. You're gonna just feel so sad and just you're just never going to be happy, and you're always going to be taking it out on other people and yourself, and just like the more positivity that you surround yourself with, the less negative you will become and will experience. So if it's like, oh my god, like people, I don't know, it's just like just keep your mind preoccupied with things that you love doing. Like, if you feel the urge to go paint and stuff like that, but then you just sit on your ass and just smoke weed and watch Netflix all day. Like, are you making yourself happy, or are you just masking your sadness? It's like, do that thing that makes you happy. And also just, like, constantly going in the opposite direction of what your soul is saying. It's just going to keep disconnecting you from your higher self, and it also will make you more sad. It will make you overthink more. It, like, doing what makes you happy just eliminates that sadness. Because that sadness causes stress, and then you get frustrated, and then you get angry, you start overthinking, you start spreading it out to the rest of the world, and just splurging everybody that you come in contact with, and then nobody wants to be around you, and you can end up being alone. So just, like, listen to yourself and listen to your soul, and just do things that you want to actually be doing. Because then you think that it's going to be, like, wasting your time, but it's not. It's going to give you life. It's not going to waste energy. It's going to give you more energy. And the more energy you have, the less sinking that you will be, because you'll become more lighter. Because you're more happier. And you'll become more positive. And then you'll be less stressed. And then you won't stop overthinking. So it all works out. Yeah, also listening to very calming music also helps with a lot of, like, stress releasement, and, like, stops overthinking, because it just kind of, like, just slows you down, and then, like, lets you get a clearer image of whatever's happening, so you're not so blinded by anger and stress and all those, like, emotions and stuff like that. Because I guess overthinking is just, like, anger is not a bad emotion. Like, it can be used for a lot of power to push you through and give you strength to do things. But if you have too much of that, it just gets stored inside you, and then you just start getting frustrated, and you start overthinking, and just, like, kind of like it needs to go somewhere, so it's just going to go to your head. And then you're just going to be working your brain over and over and over again, and constantly thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking, and then you're just going to, like, stress yourself out, and then you're going to get so burnt out. It's not going to help you. So it's like, might as well take that energy and put it into something that's going to benefit you, instead of just putting it into your head and just clocking you out every day. Because then you're just wasting energy, and you're also wasting time. So, yeah. My rant is over. This was the Cosmic Psychedelic mini podcast. I hope you all enjoy and take something from this. And, we do, on Wrath of Aquarius podcast, we do episodes Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday. And, I hope you all enjoy, and have a good day. Blessings to you all. Thank you. And namaste. Goodbye, guys.